Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So if you haven't been here before, my name's Beth. I'm a seamstress and I like to make knit, crochet content, all that stuff here and on Instagram. So yeah, like I said, I'm a seamstress and I normally work, I work full time, but this week I actually have a week of annual leave. So it's currently Monday morning and I have motivated myself to get up and out of bed and get ready because I actually want to be quite productive this week. So if you caught any of the last vlogs or if you watched the August podcast, then you may have seen that I've been sort of working towards some new sewing projects. So I've been designing and making some needle cases, crochet hook cases, pouches, things like that, and I've pretty much cut the majority of my fabric. So this week I would like to try and bulk sew a whole load of them with the intention to maybe try and sell a few, and then also just work on some whips and some content that I've got to do. So I'll quickly show you one of them now. So yeah, like I said, if you caught any of the last videos or podcasts or anything, you probably would have seen this a couple times now. This is the jumper that I'm knitting for my boyfriend's Christmas present, so I would really like to work towards this week at least getting the body portion done. So I think I've pretty much got from the end about 4 more inches in total, so about 2.5 inches in the 2x2 rib, and then we're gonna have 1.5 inches hem in 1x1, so it will match the neckline kind of thing. So yeah, if I can make some good progress on this, I'll be happy, because all of my other Christmas presents are done now, and I do also just need to take out the lifeline, which obviously is this grey line running through the front of it. And then I'm also working on another project which I am not going to get out right this second, but that is for some content that I'm doing for hobby, so I'm sure we'll be showing you that at some point soon. But that's another 2x2 rib bits for me. Yeah, they're my main knit whips. And then today I also this morning need to sit and go through my pattern document. So if you didn't know, I currently have a pattern in testing. It's my granny square jacket. I'll try and put a photo up here. So yeah, I've had some feedback and some comments, and I've discussed with my group chat a couple of things that we're gonna reword, so need to sit down and do that this morning, and then yeah, get onto the sewing. So I think it's about 9:30, 9:45. Hoping to have a productive day. I'm going to do the pattern stuff first because I'm most excited about getting to the sewing, and then yeah, I can take you along with that. Yeah, down here I literally have, okay, that's a blanket, I'm blocking mats, but this is all just cut fabric, literally ready to go and start sewing. And yeah, I do have an industrial sewing machine as well, so should make the process nice and smooth. The only thing is I might have to set up the iron, but we're gonna sort the pattern first, and then yeah, I'll check back in with you in a bit. Okay, so the pattern editing is done, so I thought I'd quickly show you where I'm at with the sewing. So I've literally just got everything out. So last week I basically sewed up the insides for, this is going to be the all-in-one sort of case, and then these ones behind are the insides for the circulars. So what I have already done, so these are the DPNs and the travels, and these are the compacts, because these are actually pretty much exactly the same dimensions. It's just that the actual, I guess, slots are differently shaped. But yeah, what I've already done is pressed over all of these edges, so I just literally need to sew all of these down. You can kind of see on this one, that's what the edges look like, and then yeah, just start actually compiling all of the insides. So I think that's probably the first thing that I'm gonna do this morning. And then these are all of the bits of fabric for the little side pockets. So this case is nearly made up, but she's not completely bagged out because I do need to add in the ribbons. But yeah, basically my intention was to have the side pockets in a matching fabric to the outside of the case, but I'm conflicted on two things. So firstly, obviously if I make the outside and the inside the same fabric as the outside of the case, if that makes sense, then I probably won't have enough of each fabric to make separate little cases of these, because what I ideally wanted to do was have one that was attached to the case and then have like other just like separate pockets that you could buy if you wanted to just like slot in another pocket and like expand the space in the case. So yeah, I don't know about that. And I also today have got to organize all of my zips, because I bought zips with the intention to do the pouches with, so like not the cases, like essentially like the toiletry, like makeup bag sort of thing. So that's what these piles are. These are just the different sizes that I'm going to be doing. And from what I can remember, I bought zips at, I think like maybe 16 inches or a bit longer, because it was longer than every size, and then it meant that I could use them for the pouches. But I don't want to cut loads of 16-inch zips down to 6 inches to put them in these and then not have enough long ones for the cases. So yeah, basically I need to see if I have enough short zips. If not, we might be ordering a load of zips later, but it's not too bad. Price wise, I mean, it's not ideal. They add about, I think each 6-inch zip, so like this long, is I think like 65p, so that's how much I'd have to add on to the cost. But anyway, we're just gonna get started on the sewing, and I need to set up my machine. So I'm just threading up my sewing machine, and tell me how, I never knew. So I have a Thai sewing machine. It's pretty much the same as every other sewing machine, like Industrial, Brother Singer, whatever. It's just a different brand. But so if you can see here, this is where like the bobbin winds up. And I was watching, I think her name's Taylor Rose on YouTube. She's Australian. She makes like scrunchies. But I was watching one of her vlogs recently, and she was saying about how you can leave in a bobbin, and then as you sew it also winds the bobbin at the same time. And I know that this might sound so ridiculous, but I don't know how I literally have never clocked that before, like in my whole time at uni, like my whole time working as a seamstress, because like the type of industrial that I have at work is the one where the bobbin winds like on the side, it's not like on the top. So yeah, but I just literally never thought of that. I always just like wait for the bobbin to run out and then just have to like take it out and wait for it to thread, and then, you know, whatever. But this is such an easier way to do it. It's like such a time-saving hack. So I have got 2 threads connected to my machine currently, and I'm gonna trial it to see, yeah, how well it works. But it is crazy as well, like this machine I bought new last year, and obviously like the machine that I have at work is like really old, and even just like how easy like just it is like to, I don't know what the side bit's called where you spin it, but basically where you can get the needle to go up and down manually. It is just so much nicer. And I love as well, I don't know if you'd be able to see from the angle I've got you, but there's this button here that basically just does like exactly a stitch. So this machine always finishes with the needle down in the work, and then you can just press this little button and then it just literally brings it up. And yeah, it is so like easy to use, user friendly, I say, as I just split my thread. But yeah, the one thing I'm not looking forward to today is how much thread I'm gonna have to hoover out of my carpet, well, pretty much every day this week. God, I literally cannot thread sewing machines without like actually putting the thread in my mouth. It's so bad. we're ready to go.
So yeah, like I was saying a minute ago, here I was literally just top stitching on like every single edge of these pieces. I was so glad to pass me as well that I had actually just like pre-pressed all of these and I didn't have to faff around with that. So it was just go, go, go. And you can actually see the bobbin going on the top of my machine. I was so chuffed that this actually worked out. But yeah, massive life hack.
So this desk is actually horrible, so please excuse this. This is gel nail varnish and I spilt something and it's like bubbled the paint. But anyway, I have just been marking out basically where to draw the line, well, where to sew the lines for the slot. So these ones are the compact case. Obviously this is just what they look like when they're done. And then yeah, I'm just gonna sew these up now, so just like this front bit to the backing, and then I'm just gonna do the same for the what is it, the like DPNs and travel sizes. They're the other ones that I was sewing a minute ago, like the top bits. So yeah, just gonna try and like do these all in bulk.
Continuously sewing lines back and forth is just in some ways very therapeutic, in other ways really annoying. Like sewing straight lines is simple, but when it has to be perfectly straight, evenly spaced, and it's visible because it's top stitching, it is just like, oh, I've got to get everything the correct measurement. So yeah, this took me a little while to do.
So I finished up sewing like all of the insides, and I've literally just sat and like allocated zips to each of them, because that's going to be the next step, is going to be sewing all of the zipper pockets for the inside. So yeah, I have this big box of zips, but like I said, so like they're the white longer ones that I bought, but I don't want to use them because I want to keep them for the pouches, which is what I actually intended to buy them for. And I was going to do everything with white zips, but since I have all of these, what I've been trying to do is like allocate colour zips that like actually match the fabric. So like, okay, this for example, like, so because there's the green in this, it will have like a nice contrast green zip, and then yeah, just kind of like where it makes sense, I guess. So yeah, that's that. And then I've also just been, so this is the ribbon that I'm going to use. This is like just a cotton ribbon because I think it goes quite well with the calico. So I've just cut these and just like was experimenting and trying to see, I don't know if it's going to focus, like how to sew the kind of end bits down, and then also like what length that I want to cut them, because I need to cut all of the ribbon before I like bag out the cases essentially. So obviously I do need to sew all the pockets first, and then the ribbon's going to come out from this side, but it needs to be trapped between the outer fabric and the lining. So yeah, I need to kind of unpick this bit a little bit here. That's why I haven't actually finished sewing it down. But yeah, so once I've done all of the pockets, I need to cut all the ribbons, but I also need to cut out calico for all the pockets because I've only got this much. And so like I said, like obviously this one's got the fabric both sides, but for the majority of the cases it's going to have like the main fabric on one side and then the back's going to be calico. But hang on, let me just quickly unzip this. So yeah, they are also actually like lined with the calico, because I just didn't like the way that if I overlocked the inside, like the zips were sitting at the edges. And I know that obviously these do kind of fold in, but I think on the inside it's a nicer finish if it's lined, and it's also just like an extra like layer of protection if you put like scissors or like anything with a kind of sharp edge in here. I didn't want it to like poke through or anything. So yeah, I am going to line all the pockets, which means I need to cut more fabric.
So here I was just literally cutting out all of the calico pockets. I normally always cut with like fabric scissors, but I bought this rotary cutter and obviously like cutting mat and this big inch grid thing, and oh my god, let me tell you, it is a game changer, especially because like all the pattern pieces that I'm using are rectangular. So yeah, this actually was so quick.
So I've just cut out like all of the like pocket linings, I guess, out of the calico, and like literally for every size case, and changed my machine foot to a zipper foot, and yeah, I'm just gonna literally start making up all the pockets.
It's kind of funny watching this back because I'm pretty sure this is literally the only zip that I bothered to pin. After this, it was just like, you know, if it works out, it works out. But yeah, I also just top stitched on every side so that nothing gets like caught in the zip essentially, and I just think it gives it quite a nice like little finish.
It's literally 3:30 in the afternoon and it's already getting dark. So yeah, I'm really sorry about the lighting from here on out, but I have sewn in all of the zips for all of the sizes, and so these are the compacts. These ones I have actually sewn into pockets, but the rest of them are just in these kind of flat states. So I need to stop in a minute because I need to go pick my brother up from work, but the next step is literally bagging out all of my pockets, and then I need to press them so that the seams align properly, and then cutting the ribbon and then bagging out the whole case. But this is currently the situation we're working with. This is the issue with like having a bedroom as a workspace, is there's just stuff everywhere. Like that's all fabric, they're the tote bags, other things, etc. That's scrap fabric. This is my box of zips. That's for something I'm doing for private work, whatever. And then these are all the rest of the flat cases, and then they're the compacts. So I think, yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit of a tidy up, see if I can reduce the amount of things I've got out, because I do need to get out the iron. But I actually really love this fabric. I like a lot of the floral ones. This one as well I really like. This one has a bit of staining on it, so I think I might keep this one for myself if I can't get the marks out, because I do actually really like this print. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then hopefully can get some of these actually fully made up tonight, which yeah, is exciting. So it's about like 7 o'clock in the evening now, so I'm gonna start packing up, but I just thought I'd quickly show you where we got to today. So this was, I think I showed this earlier, the case that was like pretty much done. So this is it, just with the ties in. It's all been secured, and they've got like top stitching the whole way around. Guess I should show you this way. And then yeah, obviously the name tags. So this will need like a final press and everything, but you can imagine this is just sort of the vibe, what we're going for. You can really like secure this any way that you want. I did make sure as well that these are long enough if you want to tie them in a bow. Like, I don't know, I feel like it is not this deep to figure out how you want to tie your case, but yeah, I did want it to be able to tie in a bow just because I think it looks cute. And yeah, they are quite long, but I thought better to be too long than too short because you can just tie them up multiple times. So yeah, this is the one that is almost completely finished. So almost, because everything's gonna need like a full steam at the end. So that's the compact, and then I have literally just finished bagging out all of the other all of the other like fabrics. I don't know if you can see, I had to unpick a little bit there. So like these are going to need a press, and then they're going to need top stitching after. So I think the aim of the game tomorrow morning is to finish bagging out all of the different sizes, and then yeah, so that's obviously like the corduroy one. This one is just the black denim, which I feel like even these like plain color ones still look quite nice if you're someone that's bit more minimal, and I think that the cotton ribbon was a good shout because it literally matches in colour to the calico almost perfectly, and I quite like having the contrast like against the main fabric on the outside, like when it's wrapped around, because it also pretty much matches the tags. So yeah, that's the denim one. This one, which honestly I love, and I'm so tempted to actually keep this one for myself, but we shall see. So yeah, that one's just obviously the florals, and this is what I mean about like there's the floral ones have more where the fabric's on both sides, whereas like these ones have the calico on the inside. Yeah, it just depended on basically how much of each fabric I had and like what was the best way to use it. So yeah, this is the little floral one, and then this one is the last one. So that is all of the compacts made up. They just obviously need to be pressed tomorrow, top stitch, and then pressed again. So yeah, like I said, I'll probably try and bag out all the sizes and then just in one go just like literally steam everything, because this evening that's what I did with the pockets. I just sat there and just literally pressed, well, I sewed all the zips and then I sewed them all shut, and then I went and pressed them all. I think it's an easier way to work, because otherwise you're like changing machine feet and then you're turning the iron on and off, and yeah. Also, everything's just going to be top stitched in white. I think I have used white to sew pretty much everything, but I think it looks okay. I just need to be careful on obviously like these ones where it is very contrasting that I sew in a straight line, but I think it should be okay. Like I think you can see on this one, yeah, you can see the stitching, but I think it looks quite nice in the white. And yeah, it's just another thing that makes my life easier and makes them a little bit cheaper, because we don't have to buy matching thread colours to like every single fabric that I'm using. So yeah, I need to clear all this up. I'm not going to put everything away, but I do need to clear my bed and then probably start some knitting. So if you're only really here for the knitting, which is fair enough, this is what I'm going to be working on this evening. So I did show this in my October podcast, and I think I started it in the last video. This is something that I'm making for content that I need to film for hobby. So it's basically going to be like a little cardigan, like bolero, like long sleeve thing. It's kind of really hard to show because I have actually got it on like really short fixed circulars. Did you just hit? There's a dog outside, but anyway, I feel like I may or may not be close for splitting for sleeves, so I think I'm going to work on some of this evening and yeah, see how we get on, and then carry on with the sewing in the morning. But currently absolutely covered in thread, but this is all of the cases bagged out, and yeah, I need to go and iron these all flat so that I can top stitch them. So, a little bit funny, I just accidentally melted like part of this case, so I think I'm going to keep this one just for me, and then see if I can get the stains out of the other piece of this fabric, because the only other case I've got this in I think is one of the big ones. Yeah, it's like one of the circular cases, but I do have literally one more of this size of this fabric, so I'm going to see if I can get the marks out of that, and then see if I can make up another one of these compact cases. But yeah, I don't even know how I managed that, but yeah, so I have cleaned off the iron and I put it on a lower heat, so fingers crossed it still works okay. I can't believe it's already getting dark, so as always you have to bear with, but I don't even know how to like pick this up. I have finished sewing all of these cases, so they've all been pressed and top stitched around the edges. I just need to do one final round of pressing to basically like where this top bit flaps down, it needs to be pressed so that it stays in that position, if that makes sense, and then I might just give them a little press like along where I want them to fold. But yeah, apart from that, they're literally all completely made up now. I think I might have already showed you, but I did burn through this one. But yeah, I really like how they've ended up looking, and this is for all 5 of the sizes as well. Like obviously these ones I'm holding up are just the compacts, but yeah, I think they look really nice. I'm happy with the ribbon. I think that the ribbon looks really nice with the labels. So now I'm at a bit of a loss of what to do, because like I think I've already showed, I've got all of these cut for the pouches, so I'm thinking I could start allocating lining to those. And then obviously I've got 3 of the tote bags, but they need lining also. I think what I'm going to do is sit and go through my planner, because I wrote down like how many of each thing I wanted to make. Because okay, basically the issue that I'm having, right, is that I have like a certain amount of fabric that's like actual meters of fabric, and then I have quite a lot of fabric that's just like fat quarters that I've like ironed out. So yeah, so like these are all just individual sheets of fabric. I don't have, some of them I have maybe like 1 repeat, but generally not. And I wanted to offer like also like drawstring like bags. This one, which could be used as project bags. Like obviously this is quite a big one. I feel like I look like I have no neck with this turtleneck on. But yeah, I wanted to offer some drawstring bags as well. The issue that I've got is obviously some of the fabrics that I have in fat quarters I don't have enough of to make, like, because I wanted to do like essentially an A4 size and an A3 size. So like this, when it's all flat out, is like pretty much an A4, an A3 piece of paper. But this is basically a whole fat quarter, and then obviously I had a matching fabric. But these floral ones as well that I've got, they're quite see-through, so yeah, you can see there, like this one's lined, which I'm not convinced that I want to do for all of them, because it eats up fabric very quick, and also it's going to make them more expensive, and I honestly just don't think that it's completely necessary. Like obviously for this one it was, like this is just for me, because it was see-through and it's quite thin, but some of the fabrics that I've got are thick enough, I think, that they don't need a double layer. Like I think the hardest thing that's going to be in here is probably like if you've actually got needles attached to your whip, but beyond that obviously they're just more for like storing projects in anyway. So I need to basically separate out what I think could be for the bags and what I think could be for the linings, because say like this for example, this would be enough to do like one of the smaller bags but not one of the bigger bags. So I think, yeah, what I'm concerned about is just that like you probably, if I made them out of the fat quarters, wouldn't be able to get a matching like big and little one. They would just sort of all be different. And yeah, like I said, obviously I do have some more fabric that's like actual meters of fabric, but I think that that will maybe be better lining the totes. Because then the other thing, right, so obviously I've cut these for the pouches, which are going to be like the, essentially like you've probably seen them before, like the makeup bag, like toiletry, like pouch things. So they're all going to have a zip. I do need to actually tag all of them, but they're also going to be wadded. So yeah, I bought this like wadding, and it's not like a hugely thick one, but I think it will be thick enough to give it the like boxiness that I want. Because what I was gonna do is I was going to basically use like a really firm interfacing so that it would stand up, but first of all it didn't turn up, so I got a refund. And second of all, like before it even that happened, I sort of thought that maybe doing it like quilted would be better because it's more protective of like what's actually inside the case. So I do need to quilt all of these pieces and yeah, decide on the lining, but I haven't decided yet how I want to quilt them. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like I should probably start quilting these all first, and then we'll get to the fabric after maybe. I honestly, like, the whole point of doing this, I've said so many times now, is to try and clear through stash fabric, which I am doing. However, I just feel like it's not even decreasing it by that much. Like, I just keep looking around and there's just more and more like fabric, and I have so much more that I could make. And I think that's almost like the overwhelming thing is like, if you were obviously to go out and like buy fabric for a collection or for a range or whatever, you kind of have like limited possibilities of like, oh my god, limited possibilities of like what can go with what, and like that, obviously that's what makes it all cohesive. Oh my fucking, I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, but in a way it kind of simplifies and like reduces the amount of decisions you need to make because you've only got so many. The issue is because I'm working from stash and the stash is big, that it just never seems to end. Like the possibilities are endless. And yeah, so because obviously like with these pouches, some of the pouches, like the fabric, there's one in every size. So like say like this like fleecing fabric, so I feel like the linings should also be cohesive, but then I worry that I won't be able to if I just want to use up what I've got. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get on. I probably will just start quilting. I also don't know how much more I'm gonna film of me actually sewing because it's getting a little bit dark now, and also like I feel like I have quite chatty videos and I don't really know if people want to just sit and watch me sew because it's not even knitting. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll check back in at some point. So I'm going to trial basically like sewing over these lines, quilting this. I have quilted things before. The only thing, well, the thing that I'm probably most worried about is just the fact that like sometimes when you quilt, like the fabric like slips over the like what's it called, the wadding, and I've seen some people like put a layer of glue basically to secure the fabric to the wadding before you sew so that it doesn't like come apart. But my concern with that is that to cut a long story short, I had to once sew through something with adhesive on it, not on this machine but on my domestic, and the adhesive like bunches up around the needle, and I was like, I'll just change the needle, but it like got all up in this bit and it just gave me loads of issues like trying to clean it out afterwards. So I just am hoping that this is gonna work just sewing. I've also got like loads of crap out. Kind of shouldn't have started on this because this is like my favorite fabric, so if this goes wrong then whoops, but it seems to be okay. Not too bad so far, and the reason that I've like done this so that the wadding overhangs is that I'll just cut around it afterwards. Sometimes it gives you more issues if you cut them out to be the same size to begin with.
was also worried because I'm not sewing this with a backing, because I'm lining the bags and bagging them out, that this was all gonna get stuck in like the, what are these called, like the teeth, but it actually seems to be okay. And also, I know that like a lot of times when people sew these bags, this would be like a continuous piece and you wrap around. The reason that I'm doing them in halves and sewing them is, well, for two reasons. The reason that I'm doing it on the outside is so that from the bottom of the bag, the fabric's going to come round and the pattern's going to come round in the same way. And I know that there isn't a pattern on every different size, but I thought it would be weird to offer some with the seam and some without, so they're all going to be the same. Secondly, I guess three reasons actually. Secondly, I had awkward shapes of fabric. This was a way that I could basically get more out of what I had using smaller pieces, just as long as all the grain lines matched. And thirdly, for the lining, it means that I am able to leave the bottom seam open and bag them out, so that none of the raw edges are on the inside. They're all in between the lining and the outer fabric. So yeah, there is, I feel, some method to my madness. I feel like this is actually working okay. I think because, oh god, because this wadding isn't too thick. So I'm going to continue going this way and then we'll come back the other way. So I was pleased to see that obviously this all worked out fine, even without a like backing fabric underneath the wadding. There was no bunching, it didn't get caught in my machine, and I didn't have to glue anything down. So this is how it looks quilted. Obviously you have to ignore these red pen lines, they are iron off, but this is what I meant about, like, obviously when they're put back to back, well, they'll actually be more like, I don't know how to show you this without having sewn it, but yeah, they'll kind of be like this. So this is what I meant about, like, the pattern comes up and faces the same way at the top. It's just going to mean that there'll be a seam running through the bottom. So yeah, like this was a practice one that I made, if I can get it. So that obviously this one's not wadded, but this is what I mean with the seam down the bottom. So the only thing I'm worried about is that it might be a little bit more, like, it might stand out a bit because of the wadding, but we shall see. I might make this one up just as like a trial, because as well, like, I don't know if you can see, but this wadding is not very thick. Like, it doesn't like bulge much between the seams, which I don't really mind. Like, that's not really the reason that I'm quilting it. I just hope that it's gonna actually stand up enough. So maybe I'll pick out some lining for this and make this one up and then just see. But I need to make sure I have enough zips actually. It's actually pretty late now. It's like, well, it's like 8:30, so it's actually not late, but it's like late to still be doing this. I can't even remember if I said in the last clip now, the tabs on this were uneven and it was bugging me, so I went back in and readjusted them. I also readjusted one of the sides, was like shorter than it should have been, like only ever so slightly, and these are things that like you would not probably pick up on, but I will pick up on because it's my own work. But yeah, so this is the little tiny mini one. I have just been quilting the other fabric pieces for this size. So this is the little pile of them, which I'm literally obsessed with this pink one. I think that the like diagonal like quilts actually look quite nice with the print, and then yeah, literally like on all the corduroy. I'm not quilting these ones. I also should say the pens that I use, they're friction pens, they iron off, so you can buy these anywhere. You can buy them in Tesco
if you're wondering. So yeah, not going to quilt the fleece ones because I actually quilted a puffer jacket for my final collection in this fabric. That's what this is left over from, and it was like unbelievably thick in the end. And yeah, I feel like this is pretty comparable, like it's pretty similar to the width of the like wadding that I'm using anyway. So if I quilted this, these would be like double the size of all of the other fabrics. And then there's like this pink corduroy, which is like on a diagonal anyway, and then there's like this like plain white, like I don't even know what this is, it kind of almost feels like denim, but I don't know. And then yeah, yellow corduroy, and then that one. So these are the minis so far. I haven't allocated linings yet. I think the plan is like things that are very plain, so like for example the white, they're gonna get allocated the more patterned lining fabrics first, and then things like this or like this one, the inside of this one is just plain because I didn't feel like I had a corresponding fabric that wouldn't clash with it too much. Like I wouldn't mind doing an outside and an inside of two different prints as long as I feel like they actually looked nice. And yeah, I didn't have any. I would have loved, if possible, if we could have had like maybe like a light blue lining or like a green or something, but I think that this one's fine. It's only the inside anyway. So yeah, I think my plan is, what I'm gonna do is quilt all of the outsides of the bags. So obviously I've got the other two sizes to go. I think I'm going to call them the minis, middies and maxis, and then if I eventually up the size range to offer a bigger bag, then that will be like the mega. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to quilt all of the middies and the maxis, and then, well, I won't be quilting them all tonight. This is like my plan for in the morning. And then what I'll do is I'll separate them out into their like prints and not into sizes, and then see what lining fabrics can go with what outer fabrics, and then yeah, just start making them up. Probably what I might do is I might do what I did with the like needle cases and put in all the zips in one go, and then after that do them per size, because I know it's really ridiculous, but like I really have a pet peeve and like a hate for changing feet on a machine. Don't ask me why. It's such a simple task, but I think like having worked as a seamstress, and like every piece of clothing is different, so you need like either a different foot or a different machine or a different colour thread, and like I'm going between like an industrial and I need to like change the thread on overlocker and back and forth. It just honestly slows you down so much more than you think. So I'm trying to act like a production line, but yeah, I think this evening, well, I've set an alarm for 9 o'clock. That's my cut-off point, because although I'm enjoying myself, I'm like, I cannot be doing this late into the night. My family is probably sick of hearing the sewing machine. I'm probably just gonna work on a little bit of knitting for a little bit, but honestly maybe not loads. I need to get out of bed earlier tomorrow morning than I did today, and yeah, I'll obviously catch up with you tomorrow, and if I work on any knits then I'll show you that as well. I was actually last night working on my hobby piece, but I feel like when I hit a point that I can't decide to split for sleeves or not, I just like don't work on it, because I'm just like don't want to make a decision. I think I do need to make it a little bit longer, so maybe, but I do also need to work on my boyfriend's thing. I don't know, I feel like I need to actually sit down and like properly plan out what I'm going to do for the rest of the week, because I also actually have things that I have to do. I think Thursday, so today's Tuesday, tomorrow I'm going to spend sewing. Thursday I need to have a content day, like I need to take some photos for Instagram, I need to film content for hobbies, so the desk needs to be clear, and just like various things, like work on my pattern test. And then Friday, I think, well, I'm basically doing some like private work for like a relative, like seamstress. I need to reupholster some cushions essentially, but when I say cushions, they're not like little cushions, they're like actual like sofa pieces, like chair pieces. So I do really need to work on that, so maybe I'll like allocate Friday. I'm thinking Thursday for content because it's the only day this week that had sun and a cloud on the weather thing and not just a cloud. So yeah, we'll see. And then who knows about the weekend. Oh, I feel like week offs go so fast, but anyway, I'll check in at another time.
So I've just been working on this jumper a little bit. I have literally only done one round because obviously I've just run out of yarn, but honestly every time I start knitting this I just forget how much it hurts my hands, and then within 5 minutes I'm just like, oh. But I basically, this lifeline, everything above it has already been blocked, and then obviously this bit hasn't, and you can just see like how different it is. Like I feel like the 2x2 actually really holds its shape well in this yarn once it's been blocked. Obviously this is all cinching in way more, but yeah, basically from this point I had to knit another 10 inches. I think last time I measured this was like 6 or 7, and this is probably already longer than the majority, if not all, of the jumpers that I have knit for myself, and we've still got like a chunk to go. And then the bottom rib, obviously this one is for my boyfriend. I don't know if I just said that or not, but yeah, I'm like just aiming like for the end of the body because I feel like the sleeves are going to work up so much quicker. I love knitting sleeves. I feel like they just fly by after the absolute slog of the body, especially because this is, well, it's way more stitches than I'm used to. It's way longer than anything I'm used to knitting, also wider, and yeah, I don't like knitting with this yarn. It's let loopy. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
Good morning guys, it's Wednesday and I'm sorry you can see these like threads. You're currently balanced on the like thread holder of my sewing machine, so a bit of a different angle today, but it is currently, I think it's around like 9:30, so I have actually been up working earlier like I said I wanted to today. We're winning. So basically I've just been gridding out the quilting lines on all of the midis and the maxis. This is such a really boring, time consuming process, so I think what I will do is, if these sell well or whatever, I'm gonna buy a quilting foot for my industrial machine. So basically they're the ones that like, they come with like a metal rod that like sticks out of the foot, and you can like set it to a certain measurement, and then you line it up with your previous stitch line, and it basically means that you don't have to like pre-draw everything on the fabric. You just literally line it up as you're sewing, and it will be like the exact increment that you want to sew. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it would essentially mean that I wouldn't have to draw absolutely every line out. I'd probably just do like a initial like starting line and then go from there, and then like one in the opposite direction, because I'm also doing these as like, how do I show this? They're like diagonals. So yeah, so I'm gonna start quilting all of these other pieces now and putting the labels on, and then after that I think we really need to start thinking about lining.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, I find this process so tedious, but I had at this point already committed. I think partially just because I feel like the process of drawing the lines was so tedious, and then having to go back over them in the stitching. I think, yeah, for future reference, it would just be so much easier with an actual quilting foot, because then you eliminate the first step, and I just feel like the whole process is just going to be like so much quicker.
So it's, well, I think it's about like 1:30, so it's a bit later now. So yeah, obviously this was the little pouch that I made last night, so this is going to be the mini size. I think this is probably better for, like, you can tell what size it is. So I've pretty much quilted all of my sizes, I think, apart from 2 of the big ones. But yeah, I've started cutting lining and sewing. So like I said, my plan is to put all the zips in while the zipper foot's on. And the other thing, that was the postman, so Loki, hope he's not looking as I'm filming. But yeah, so the other thing is that I started cutting all of the little like pulley tabs for the edges out of the like scrap fabric that I had. These are basically just so that you can like, you hold and then you can pull. It's just like an ease of use thing. But so because I'm doing, most of them have, each fabric is in all 3 of the sizes, so I need 6 tabs because there's 2 per case. But then, so I cut like 6 of these little strips of fabric for each one, and then I realized that they're double-sided, so I actually need 12. And then as I was sewing them, I was like, why didn't I just make one continuous strip and then just cut them down to the length I need them for the tabs? So that's just something that's, yeah, unnecessarily taking a long amount of time. The other thing, as I was sewing the lining in on this small case, I don't even know how I did it, but I think as I was like top stitching, this side of the lining was folded under and I didn't realise, and I've sewn through, so I just unpicked it. But this fabric that I'm using for this lining, it is not forgiving, and yeah, you can literally see like all of the holes from where I unpicked it. So I'm going to completely take this apart and recut a new piece of lining because I do just want everything to be like perfect. But I'm going to check the bigger ones now. Okay, yeah, so the other 2 sizes are fine. So like, that's what it's meant to look like. It's just meant to be the line of stitching, and then obviously the same on the outside. So yeah, I need to continue with that, and I think I've pretty much decided what lining I'm using for everything. Obviously I do need to cut a lot of it, and I do now need to cut like more strips of these. However, the only thing I've eaten today is a yogurt, and I feel like I can feel myself getting hangry. Like, I keep doing silly little things and then getting like really hangry at myself. So I think I'm gonna go and make some lunch and then maybe return to this. I think the other thing that's stressing me out as well is like the actual state of my room. Like, this room is not big. Like, I love this room. I love this room so much. Like, it is literally exactly how I want it, but it is also a small bedroom. It's not really built to be a studio space as well. So I might, when I come back up, just try and clean up a little bit, and maybe, I'm not sure yet, it does feel a little bit redundant, but like there's so much thread in the carpet, I'm like really tempted to hoover, but it, like I said, does feel a bit redundant because obviously I'm just going to keep getting more and more threads on the floor. But there's still like a huge pile of fabric down here, which I think I might just move over and lay on the bed just so I've got a bit more like floor space. And then yeah, start cutting some more fabric. But I'm trying to like power through because I tried to like plan my week yesterday evening, and I basically want to get as much as possible done today, because I think I said on the video last night, tomorrow I need to do some content stuff, so I can't really be sewing all day. It'd be nice to also get some photos of the stuff. And then the other thing is that I also have like other personal work that I've taken on that I need to work on this week, and so yeah, I'm trying to like power through today and then not like feel like I've not done anything this week, which is ridiculous. I don't know, we'll just see. So I realized I actually haven't updated in ages. Basically it's like, I don't know, it's 7:30 now, so I've like eaten dinner and that. I was on a bit of a mission to finish making all of these tabby things for like the edges of the bags. So yeah, I made like all of the tabs for all of the sizes and all of the fabrics. Some of them are like a little bit different. So like, for example, because like these little tab things are like 2 layers of fabric, but for the fabrics that are really thick like this, so like this is 2 layers in the fleece, so like for the bigger sizes I think it's fine, but like for the little mini sizes, these are really bulky, so they're gonna have slightly different tabs that are thinner. So how do I describe this? So basically these are like 2 separate bits of fabric put together, and then the reason they're so thick is because they have the seam allowances of, yeah, it's essentially 4 layers thick of fabric, okay, and then this is just 2, so they're just made a little bit differently. They're still double-sided, but yeah, as you can see, they're not as bulky. So these are going to be on the mini sizes. The other fabric that I actually had to do that for is this pink corduroy. I think it would have been fine. It's just very, I don't know, it probably would have been fine. I don't know why I did this, but ooh, yeah, you can kind of see like the difference. So that will be in half on the bigger ones, and then that's what the small one looks like. The fleece ones are the same, but I thought you can't really see it. So I thought I'd check in now because I have finished making all of the plain white ones. So I thought I'd quickly show you the different like sizes. So this is obviously the little mini version, and this red pen is iron off, so it's actually not going to have like the red pen. So yeah, this is obviously the mini. It would just kind of fit in like the palm of your hand, and I couldn't find enough of each fabric to match the linings exactly, but I'll kind of show you how I've made them all kind of cohesive. So these have just got like this white lining with like purpley light blue kind of flowers. So that's the like Diddy one, and then this one is the midi, and this one is the maxi. So this one's kind of hard to hold without it like deflating a little bit, but we'll try and hold them all up. So the big one, the medium one, and then the little tiny one. So yeah, this one has this fabric, and then both of these, like the medium and the large size, they're from the same pack of fat quarters, so they all do kind of match. So these two have the same inner fabric, like exactly the same. And then yeah, because I didn't have enough to do all 3 of the, I don't know how I'm gonna hold these all up together, okay, because I didn't have enough to do all 3, like this one is from the same fabric pack, it's just a different print. They do actually all fit inside each other as well, like kind of like Russian dolls, so I might actually store them like this just to try and save on some space, and just so that I know that each size is complete. So yeah, this is obviously with the other 2 on the inside, but I am happy with the sizes. I feel like there's enough like variation between each size, they could all serve a different purpose. So I have put zips in the pink ones, which I'm just sewing another mini now, which this is what just reminded me that I like had not updated. And then I've also sewn the fleece ones, which were honestly a bit of a nightmare to put the zip in them. I knew that they would be, because I obviously have used that fabric before. It's just very bulky, and it's hard to get like precise lines because as soon as the fluff moves, like it's just, yeah, it's a whole thing. So I'm glad that the zips are in them. I haven't put the zips in the pink corduroy, the blue corduroy, or the yellow, pretty much just because I haven't actually, I know what lining I'm doing for the blue corduroy, but because I've got a tote bag for that, I just haven't got around to cutting it. Same with the pink. I'm going to use this same, like, it's like an off-white, like kind of peachy toned like cream, for the lining of the tote and the little mini bags. And then yeah, so I need to decide what fabric I'm going to use for the pink corduroy and for the yellow, but I feel like the pink floral fat quarters that I've got are like almost a bit too childish of like a print. Like they're not cute little florals, they're like a bit jarring. So, and I also don't think that the pinks match up perfectly either, like tonally. So yeah, I just need to figure out what to do for those. But I thought might as well actually just start making some of them and not just being sat on like the decision fatigue. Like I said, it's like getting on for 8 o'clock now, and I probably won't be doing any more of this tomorrow. So what I would really like by the end of today is like to have actually tidied up my room so that I can hoover tomorrow, because the amount of thread on my carpet is just driving me insane. So yeah, I'll maybe update later, or maybe I'll update in the morning to show you like everything that I managed to get done this evening. I was going to try and like finish a little bit earlier tonight, but my thought process is we'll just go as long as it takes, and then knowing that like tomorrow we'll get back to like knitting and stuff. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go. I'll let you know what we get up to. I also don't think that these bottom lines look too bad. Like it is a bit annoying that the quilting doesn't line up, but I don't think it's the end of the world. They're like separate fabric pieces, and it was the only way that like some of the fabric I didn't have continuous pieces. Like it wouldn't have been, I didn't have enough in one piece to do like the whole round of the bag, so I kind of had to split them into multiple pieces. But anyway, I'm gonna go. This is now the third time I'm trying to film this clip because the recycling like rubbish van keeps going past. But anyway, I got up this morning a little bit late, but got ready. I've obviously been taking like Instagram photos. I need to get on to the other content that I was going to do today, but I thought I'd quickly show you what I got done last night while I look somewhat presentable. Although I'm a bit annoyed, come out in a spot the one day that I needed to take photos this week, but it's fine. So yeah, I think I showed you, I got all of the white ones done, and I did actually steam off the pen on the smallest size just so I could see what they look like, and they just look white. What a surprise. And then yeah, I think I did show you the inside, so they got like the florals. And then I got all of the pink ones done, so yeah, all 3 sizes. Again, this is just the little one. I love the look of the little ones. I think they're really cute, but oh my god, they're such a pain in the ass to sew, like especially on the corners, because there's like quite a lot you have to sew in like a very small area. They're just very like fiddly in parts. So yeah, this size is all done, and these ones just have like this like plain lining. And then I also got done all 3 of the fleece ones. These were by far the worst to sew. Like even though they're not quilted, the fabric's just so thick. Like sewing it single layer, even double layer, is not the end of the world. Like when I say double layer, I mean like literally like sewing seams is not the end of the world. However, these bits on the sides, I think I might have even said I did it slightly different for these, for the smallest size. They're just like flat, like you can't put your finger through. I also think these are really cute and just like little baby cows. I don't even know why, but yeah, I am really glad that I did that, because I was struggling with the medium and the larges, because these are just so chunky. Like they're so thick. It might not look like it's that thick, but actually getting it under a sewing machine foot, because there's both layers of this, there's both layers of the like outside, you got to go through the zip and like the lining. And like, don't get me wrong, the lining isn't thick by any means, but it was difficult. Just literally getting it through the machine was difficult. So I am relieved that they are done. The only thing I haven't done on this size is I haven't sewn up the lining on the inside yet, because I've basically sewn everything in white, but I'm not going to top stitch on the lining in the white. I think that would just look a bit naff. So yeah, but apart from that, oh, and yeah, they just have this like, it's like a really fine houndstooth with like predominantly orange and then like a bit of pink. And this is actually fabric that was both used in my collection, so I have actually used these 2 together before. I quite like the like contrast. And I had I had a random bit of this lining left, and I don't think that it would really suit any of the other ones. Like the only other one I'd maybe have done it with was the white, but I quite like how kind of like clean that looks. So yeah, just use that for these ones, because they're not quilted. They are definitely a lot like flimsier than the other sizes, but just not one an option. All right. Yeah, it just was not possible. So that is that. So all of those 3 fabrics are done. I would have honestly liked to have done more yesterday, but things just take longer than you think that they will. Like when I do think about it, I did quilt all the sizes, I put all the labels on, like, and then I don't even know what else I was doing, but I was literally sewing all day yesterday. Like I think I stopped at around 10 p.m. last night, and I started at like 8:30 in the morning. Like obviously I did stop for like dinner and like lunch and took breaks, but yeah, genuinely just, I don't even know it took me so long. And then I've literally blitzed my room this morning. I've hoovered all the fabrics away. Like it is such a relief. I should also say this jumper that I'm wearing is another one of my own designs. I was just taking photos of it for Instagram. This is knit in Drops Daisy and Drops Kid Silk mohair. The Drops Daisy's in cobalt and the mohair's whatever the matching mohair is, I don't know. It's just all over 2x2 rib. It's quite similar to what I'm making for my boyfriend currently. I am considering writing a pattern for this, and also since it's here, this cardigan, because I just feel like they're quite like nice and easy basics. The only thing is I would definitely add short rows into the neck for this. I mean, it's fine without. Like I knit this when I was at a point that I didn't know how to add short rows, so like it's fine. I do also have a necklace on. I don't know if that looks better out or not, but anyway, I knit this at a point that I didn't really know how short rows worked, and like it is fine, but I think it only bothers me because I know what I'm missing, you know. If I'd just made this, I think it would have been a-okay. But yeah, I think if I was to write this, I'd probably do 2 options in the pattern, like one with and one without, just to make it a little bit more beginner friendly. And then yeah, this one has short rows in it, so I wasn't gonna bother with this one because I feel like it just is quite basic, and like there's probably so many raglan cardigans out there like pattern wise, but I have actually had some people request it, which kind of surprised me. So yeah, maybe you'll have to let me know. So I'm hoping that I'm done filming the content I need to film. My hair is like so past its wash day, but I haven't like actually reviewed anything that I've just filmed yet, so I need to do that in a minute. But like, oh my god, it is so cold. I have like 3 layers on. I'm absolutely freezing, and I didn't realise it's like 2:45 and I actually like haven't eaten lunch yet. I feel like when I'm at home, like days that I'm at home, I literally don't get hungry, and then the minute I'm at work I could literally eat like every piece of food in the house. But there's now yarn everywhere because I had to do some like knit things, so yeah, I need to review that footage. And then my boyfriend's coming around late when he finishes work, but I actually think that for the rest of the day until he gets here, I think I'm just gonna sit and knit, in all honesty. Like I just want to chill. Like I feel like although I've had this week off, it's just been like go making. Obviously I was sewing till like 10 last night, so yeah, I think I'm gonna take a bit of a chill pill and just literally have some lunch and just relax and try and get warm. Good morning guys, it is currently Saturday morning. So I don't think that I updated yesterday. I can't remember if I updated the day before, but essentially I have been working on some private work kind of thing. So I am recovering some like essentially like chair cushions, like not like the little cushions, like the actual seats and backings. I'm sorry if you can hear noise. I feel like my family might be kind of loud, and let me turn the sewing machine off. So yeah, so yesterday I was cutting a lot of the fabric because we're basically recovering the cushions in a pair of old curtains as well, but because the curtains were somewhat sun damaged, I had to kind of be tactical about where I was cutting pieces out. The staining wasn't too bad, but the issue with sun damaged fabric, especially curtains, is that like if you wash it or if you dry clean it or anything, it's really likely to tear, and so there's no point making new items out of something that's already essentially damaged. However, last night if you follow me on Instagram, I do sometimes post what movies I'm watching on my story, but I have been really craving watching the Step Up films. I loved them as a kid and then on any streaming services, but I bought the box set of all 5 of them from CEX. If you're in the UK, you probably know what CEX is. I'm like covered in thread already. For £4. So last night I sat and watched the first Step Up film and was working on my little bolero-ish thing. So I have casted off on the back. I say of the body, it's essentially just a yoke, and then I have started knitting on one of the sleeves. So this is kind of what it's looking like so far. Obviously this is the side that I have been changing my colours on, so just ignore all of those bits that are hanging down. But yeah, obviously it's really cropped. Yeah, it's really cropped, and I am just starting on one of the sleeve. I've decided I'm not going to do any decreases because it's ribbed, so it's sort of cinched anyway. I'm going to try and block it a little bit wider so it's more oversized. I don't know whether to put like a button or some kind of fastening like at the top so it's more like this, but that's something I'll probably decide at the end. But yeah, I really like how these colours are all looking together. I feel like you can't even really see it, so there probably wasn't much point in me doing it, but this blue is actually different. So like basically it's a repeat of like 1, 2, 3 of these colours, and then like again, and then it will just keep going, and then it alternates either yellow or blue, and then the blue alternates in itself. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but this yarn is the upcycled alpaca silk from Hobby. I was sent this for free, but I don't have to speak about it, so these are all my own opinions. This yarn is really nice, like to the touch. It's not like got that itchy factor that I think a lot of people struggle with alpaca. It does feel really nice. Like obviously I have got a long sleeve top on at the minute, but like working on it's really nice. Although I am knitting this on 3mm needles, which I don't love as much, but it's recommended a 3.5, but because it's in the rib, I think it did just look better with the 3. I think that the 3.5 for me in the rib was just a bit too gappy, because this yarn, where it's really soft, it's like almost slippery to knit with, and so I thought that the holes would be too big because it doesn't really like grip to itself much. But yeah, I feel like now that I'm on the sleeve, it should be a much quicker process, because where I'd gotten to like essentially the bottom of the yoke on the body section back and forth, the rows were getting really, really long, because it is 3mm, so the amount of stitches was like, it was just taking so long to do like each row. But yeah, we're now in the round. I'm also trialing doing joggler stripes, because I've actually never knit anything in stripes before, but it's really not difficult. So I think once I've done a couple more, I'll be able to see it like a bit clearer if it's working. But yeah, this is my whip currently. But yeah, as is the way with a lot of like soft furnishings, these cases have all these cushions have all got piped edges, so I am currently about to make a whole load of piping. I had to buy piping cord, but because they wanted matching fabric to the cushion covers, we are gonna have to make all new piping. So I'm literally gonna sit here and do that. I've got YouTube up on the telly, and I'm hoping that I can get through these relatively quickly and get back to making some of the like bags that I was making the other day. I haven't really been able to work on them for like probably about 2 days, so yeah, obviously it's Saturday now, I'm back at work Monday, so touch wood, we can make some good progress. So I'm gonna go and yeah, I'll let you know what I do. So yeah, this is the original seat cushions, and these chairs are in a conservatory, so as you can imagine, they're just sun bleached. Like there's literally like nothing I say wrong with them. Like yeah, they've just really faded the colour. And then this is the new fabric that we're using to recover them, if anyone is interested. Yeah, these are just old curtains, so just gonna get going. So it's like 9 o'clock. I'm literally covered in thread. I don't know why I always sew in black, because you will get it all over you. So I have just watched the second Step Up film on my new box set, so Love and Life. I've just been knitting a little bit on on this sleeve, which literally does not look like a sleeve or anything as of yet. I feel like progress on this is probably slower than what I'm used to, because obviously this is on 3mm needles, which I have never knit anything on 3mm apart from like the penny gloves are 3mm, or like literally just ribbing. And then the only other thing I've knit particularly small is like the one sock that I've done, but like garment wise I don't tend to knit this small. Yeah, this tiny little bit of sleeve is how she's looking. However, I suddenly have an urge to literally go through all of my clothes and sort out my floor wardrobe. So like in the main section of my wardrobe, I have like boxes of yarn on the ground, but I have been progressively throwing more and more and more things onto the pile, and there's now like coats, and yeah, so I feel like I might actually just drag out my entire wardrobe right now. Yeah, the pillows that I was doing earlier took a bit longer than I thought, just in terms of basically because I was faffing about. So I haven't actually done any more sewing today on my own stuff because I just literally couldn't be bothered. Like I have literally sewn all week on my week off, and then today's Saturday night, I go back to work Monday, and I'm literally just gonna be sewing again. So I thought I would knit a bit, so that's what I've been doing. And now yeah, I have an impulse to deep organize all of my clothes and maybe throw some things out. So that is my plan for this evening. Tomorrow, not sure for tomorrow yet. I might like maybe try and sew some more bits before I go back to work, but I just kind of want to take it easy, so I don't go back to work like literally knackered. So yeah, I'll update on whatever I do. I actually wish I could tell you why I started this, because now it's 11 o'clock and my room literally looks like this, and this is my floor wardrobe. So like it's all just yarn, it's literally all yarn. That's bags, but like yarn, clothes. It's now Sunday afternoon, which means I'm at the end of my week off. I'm back to work tomorrow, which is sad. No, I'm joking, I actually do like my job, but it's just like it's always a bit like going back to work after a week off, especially because I feel like I haven't really like rested, I guess, like because I've just been like sewing all week, and then obviously I was doing like private work and whatever. But anyway, I thought since we're at the end of the week, I could give you a little bit of like a roundup of everything that I finished this week, because I don't think I actually showed the cases completely finished, and I'm maybe considering playing with the idea of doing small sewing tonight, but that's not a guarantee. So anyway, I thought I'd quickly show you what we've got. Also, please don't mind everything that's going on behind me. That was as a consequence of me sorting out all of my clothes. I now have piles that I need to like take photos of and probably list on Vinted. But yeah, so they're currently behind me. So I was able to make all of the sized cases that I wanted to. So like what I mean by that is like there was 5 different sizes I wanted to make, and I had like a certain amount that I wanted to make for each one. So this is the range for the compact cases. This is the only one that I won't be selling, because I don't know if I included it in an earlier clip, but essentially the iron like melted the top of it here, so I think this one I'm gonna just keep for myself. But yeah, the other 4 will be going up for sale. So there's like the black denim, the blue corduroy, the pink, I don't even know what you'd call this. Would you call this a tartan? And then this like green and blue, like kind of florally one. And then these guys look the same, but they're 2 different cases. So they're exactly the same size, exactly the same dimensions, but one's the travel and one's the DPNs, but it's the same, exact same fabrics for all of them. So it's like this turquoisey floral, and then the same, the corduroy, the denim, and the pink. And then yeah, these are the ones that are like extra long. So yeah, this is the DPN case, and then the travel case is like exactly the same, but these aren't split into 3, they're just like wide the whole way down. Then there's the all-in-one cases. So these are the second largest. So we got 4 of these colours sewn up. So as with all the other sizes, the pink, the black denim, the blue corduroy, and then this one, which is like a more florally print. So basically like each, actually no, I was about to tell a lie there. I was going to say each size has a pink, a black denim and a corduroy. That is true for all except for the next cases. And then yeah, they've all got some sort of floral as the extra. So these ones are, they're like double the length of the travel and DPN ones, and then they've just got like little slots, wider slots, and then like extra wide slots, which are more for like fixed circulars. So yeah, that's them ones. And then yeah, lastly is the circulars. So there's 3 of the circular cases. These are by far the biggest and the ones that use the most fabric, so these will be the most expensive. But these other 3 different fabrics, this is at the minute, like obviously if these start to sell, I have got a lot more fabric that I would want to make more in, but I didn't just want to make loads and then like nothing sell and me just be sat with like, I don't know, like 25 cases or whatever it is. No, that can't be right. Let's say 20 cases, but then plus all the pouches and stuff. So anyway, yeah, these are the circulars. So blue corduroy, we've got this like, it's like a green and then like a little purple flower, and then this, which is the same as this one, which obviously I can't sell now. I actually really love this fabric and didn't have a lot of it because this is actually an upcycled skirt. But yeah, these are just the circular ones. This one actually has got circulars in it because I was taking photos earlier. So this is sort of like, I don't know, you can maybe see the difference in like bulk when they're, maybe I should show you this way, when they're actually like filled up. No, they look the same. Okay, but yeah, anyway, so that's all of the cases as of right now. Then onto the pouches. So this is what I might work on a little bit more this evening, maybe possibly. So we have one little mini in this, which obviously matches this one. Then each of these, they are like almost stacked like Russian dolls. So each of these has a mini, a midi, and a maxi. So obviously this is just the pink, what did I say this was? Like tartan. So yeah, obviously you can get like a whole matching set. We've got just the white, which the red is gonna iron off. And then yeah, again, this has got the 2 on the inside, which this doesn't have cases to match. I didn't have that much of this fabric. And then lastly, at the minute, this is obviously the fleece. And then, oh yeah, I should probably show you the inside of them. So yeah, these ones have the like white lining with like the purple and blue kind of like florals, and then the fleece ones have the like orange and pink like really fine houndstooth. So yeah, these don't have matching cases either. There is no way I think I'd be able to sew that type of pouch in a fleece, just because of the way that it's constructed and the way that it has to fold. I think it would be like far too bulky. So I think I did say earlier, like these don't have wadding because they're just so thick already. So yeah, I'm not gonna get out the knitting things that I was working on because I actually haven't touched them since last night, so you'll have already seen where they were at. Obviously I've started knitting the sleeve on my like bolero thing, and then boyfriend's jumper I have not touched either. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at currently, and I was like considering listing the needle cases like now and then like adding more products later on, because the thing that I'm thinking of is like if people wanted them as Christmas gifts or to treat themselves before Christmas, like I know that people like tend to struggle more in January like money wise, so it probably wouldn't be a great time to like launch a shop. But the other thing I'm thinking is like obviously if people want matching things, for example if you wanted any of the sizes of like this with like one of the cases or like whatever various combination, because there's gonna be more pouches like you've seen earlier in the video. Obviously I've cut all the fabric for the other sizes. I didn't want to list them at different times because then things would have to all be shipped out separately, and I don't know, I thought that people might want to wait to order them together, but then if something sells, like these are all one-off pieces, like I don't have any fabric left to remake any of them, I don't think. So it's sort of one of them things, like once it's gone, it's gone. So I thought maybe it would be best to just wait until like everything can go up together. And obviously I've cut the fabric for the totes, I've cut the fabric for the other pouches, and I ideally would like to make some like drawstring bags, etc., but they will not take anywhere near as long. So I'm maybe thinking of giving myself like a week, 2-week deadline, and then at that point like whatever's made we shall list her, launch the website, because then that almost is when my deadline for my pattern test is. So the deadline for the pattern test I think is like the 2nd of December, or like whatever the first weekend of December is. And then once I've made amendments, it means that I can launch the website with the pattern on it plus potentially the products. So I don't know, which I'm trying to like think ahead. Today I think is like the 10th of November, so yeah, it would be good if that could happen. I mean, like I think I've said this so many times, this is under the assumption that anyone wants anything. I'm still conflicted on whether to list anything on Etsy or not, but I don't know, we're gonna have to see. And then yeah, I don't know, we will have to see. That is the bottom line of it. But yeah, anyway, so now that we're at the end of the week, I thought it's maybe a good idea to like end the video here. Now I typically do 2 weeks, but I think because there was quite a lot of content, I'm gonna have to split this one. So if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching as per usual, and I will hopefully have the shop up soon. If you are interested, I always post more up-to-date things on Instagram, so if you're interested, my Instagram is just Fashion by Beth as well. You'll see probably all of the like updates and like launches for everything. But yeah, apart from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.